Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. We were just chuckling about being in storm preparation. Storm preparation. We should always be in storm preparation, by the way, but not for tomorrow, right? Not storm preparation for tomorrow. Where's the storm? Right here, present moment, birthing it and dying. I don't know of a bigger storm, right? Where's the swirl in that? Coming and going, going all over. It doesn't mean, as we said here, that we don't consider wise action. What you do, right? Consider wise action as we prepare for possibilities of the storms in our life. But we don't mistake that preparation as offering security or insurance, or then I'll be okay, then I'll, right? This is part of faith, isn't it? And then we have these tragedies like Lahaina, right? Or Lahaina, it might be pronounced. And we go, how did that happen? Don't we? We all do it. How did that happen? That doesn't make any sense. This isn't how it works. Well, it is exactly. It is exactly how it works. And then we have a habit, and we've done it, haven't we? Especially the media has this habit of then saying, well, who screwed up? Who messed up? And then we point, right? Those guys didn't sound the alarm. Those people didn't go when they were told, right? Because we decided it's wrong and bad, and then we look for the enemy, the perpetrator, and guess who we find? The one sitting next to you. How handy. The one lying in bed next to you. How handy. You don't have to go very far, right? The one who just said the thing they said, because they could have said that different, right? And we do it, don't we? Out there, the problem, if only that, not that, then, and we have to recognize this quality habit of mind, because if we don't see it, we suffer. This is the cause of dukkha. I'll talk about dukkha for a moment, only because it's dramatically misunderstood as suffering. Can't hear me. I wonder why. Can you hear me a little better? I would say maybe your computer volume might be down. Possible, Joyce? Because, you know, I'm from Chicago, so I'm screaming most of the time. Yeah. Nobody has accused me of being...
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, it's just hardly possible, given this big mouth. Dukkha. Let's talk about it for a moment before we talk about the luminosity of mind that holds it all. Dukkha often is interpreted as suffering, but it is wholly deficient. Definition, wholly deficient. It means the stuck moment, the gripped moment, the moment you feel separate, the moment you establish me, you, right? It's so much subtler, isn't it then? It's way before the rope burn, isn't it? It's the quality of mind that you have established that said, not this, not me, you. Dukkha. So you get the idea. It's a process then, isn't it? It's a becoming is one of the words used. Then you go becoming. Well, becoming is good. That's birthing. How could becoming be bad? But it is the becoming of the separation, the becoming of the judgments, the becoming, you get the difference? And it begins all the way back there. So when somebody says, I am resting in dukkha, what do we know? You've been in dukkha way before this thing, right? So be watchful. It is a quality of mind. It is not the circumstances of your life. I'm going to stop right there. It is a quality of mind, not the circumstances of your life. Now what? Look at chat. Now what? If it's a quality of mind, not the circumstance of your life, not your partner, not the meniscus, not the hurricane storm, then what? Then we know where the work is, don't we? Isn't that lovely? You go, I don't have to worry about over there. It's not my neighbor. It's not I don't have to worry about the partner. I have to worry about the quality of my own heart mind. This is dukkha. Right. And then we're wholly the agents of our freedom, aren't we? Now we're wholly the agents of our freedom. I love that. I have to get reminded, about every 3 seconds about that. About, no, this is the quality of my own mind. This is nothing about that partner who just said, that's stupid. No part of the problem. I made it the problem. Because I just wanted you to say how brilliant I was. I was seeking, right? Ego, mind, separation, mind, disconnected mind, wants what, has to have it now, validation. Don't we use these words in the West? I do couples therapy. It's my primary mode of therapy now. It's because I know it's hopeless. And really, like it's hopeless to go, if you could only be what she really wants you to be, then this could all work out, right? I don't waste time. I go, that's not, no, the work's not over here. The work's here. What are you doing? What are you demanding, expecting, wanting, hoping, not liking? And how do we work with that? And everybody goes, oh, I don't want this. Yeah. I have most people go, oh no, I wanted somebody to verify that you're an idiot.
Fix that.
Yeah.
Over there.
I'm here, really. Can't you see yet? It's not me, it's them. And I brought them here because I was sure I've heard you're pretty good at this, that you were going to go. And it takes about, 45 seconds to go, uh-oh, she's not going in that direction. And we're averse, aren't we? We're averse to the reality, all of us. Right? Now, if you could all write down for me all the reasons that you're sure it's not you, we would write to the end of time, wouldn't we all? We'd write because I am a good person and I try to do good things and I say my prayers, I do the mantras, I meditate, I Sufi dance, I eat right, I do my greens, I do hypnotherapy. This is the reason it's not me. And then we lose perfect opportunity. Now we're really screwed. Now we're really in dukkha because the one thing you had something to work with, you gave it away. With if only they, them, the other guys, the other side, right, would be different. And so we're going to talk today then. So that's dukkha. I want you to understand it better because we're always in it. It is ever appearing, and that's beautiful because then there's the next moment I can see and let it go, not grip, tighten with it, but actually smile. I say that a lot, don't I? Smile and let it go. And actually, the new struggle that I'm hearing is let go into what? Then give me something else. All right, I'll do it, but I am only going to do it if you give me another piece of ground. And I'm not going to give you any ground because any ground is suffering. right? Anything we think I can hold this now is going to cause your suffering. And so mother and child luminosity, let's talk about it. Child luminosity is understood, and this all is from the Dzogchen tradition, the highest tantric meditation. We had 2 lamas, didn't we, from the Dzogchen tradition here, doing a little practice with us for a while. They were lovely. The Vajrayana, or the Dzogchen, says already awake. Don't you love that? I love it. Already whole. Already, you just have to find your way back into that complete luminosity. But it is always here, never not in its arising or appearance. In fact, in Mother Luminosity, the Dzogchen say, it holds everything, including your dukkha. Everything. Like a mother would hold a child, right? And the child squalling, well, mother holds the child. Or the child is screaming and beating, right? My son used to go like this and literally almost knock out my teeth. Perfection, says the Dzogchen tradition. Isn't it? Isn't that what a 2-year-old might, in their wisdom, do? Hi, Rhea. So child luminosity is the momentary, just this moment luminosity, seeing clearly just right here, right now. Just this. Rhea just walked up. She's going, where's my tender vittles, folks? Bryn, would you help me serve Rhea, the queen? There's some tender vittles in that corner there. I'll go all the way into that back corner. She's going to follow you because she knows. Thank you. This moment, then, we just did it, didn't we? What would best serve this moment? That's just a possibility. There is no absolutes in it, though, right? You might have something, you might not have something. Somebody just might pet Rhea, right? We would regard her as a being, right? And in so doing, the path. We're walking and weaving the path. Just this moment with just Rhea, just here like this. But this isn't the whole of it then, right? But it's beautiful. Can I just be awake here? Can I just be awake this moment with what's here in front of me, the conditions arising? Can I awaken to that child luminosity? We might call it the wave and the breath. And then we look at Mother Luminosity, which we're also going to practice. And then I'll give you some metaphors for this that you know already. And then you tell me how you know it. The whole of existence from beginningless time. How do you hold that? The whole of existence from beginningless time, of which you are a part. Even though you think you had a birthday in 19, right? From beginningless time, all existence, all conditions, all people, all circumstance, all suffering, all end of suffering, throughout the whole of time, before, now, and after. And that everything you're doing, getting Rhea a tender vittle or not a tender vittle, petting her or ignoring her, right, is a part of that whole Mother Luminosity. Holding everything as difficult, as painful, as beautiful, as ecstatic, as euphoric, as tragic, as beautiful as it is. Holds it all. And so you've practiced this with me a couple times because we have done two practices in one. We're going to do it again today. Resting in the wave in the ocean, right? The breath itself, we begin there, rising and falling. Child luminosity, just this breath, just this moment. Just this breath, just this moment. It's pretty workable, right? Just that. And then eventually we let go of that sense of the wave to rest in vast, open, luminous, what could be some other words? Infinite, what? Empty, endless. Any other words? Boundless. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites, one of Brad's favorites. Vast. Ungraspable, right? Like there's nothing. You couldn't get a hold of it. Imperturbable, said the Buddha himself. Don't you love that one? Unshakable. Cannot be destroyed. It is not born. There's nothing that can contribute to its. You get the idea? The suttas say words like this: signless, ageless, colorless, borderless, birthless, and deathless. Those are the two biggies: birthless and deathless. It is not born of conditions and consequently does not die. Mother Luminosity knows the truth of this. Do you know what it is? You do, don't you? There's the always present, always available knowing. You know exactly what it is. You don't know how to hold on to it, just like I don't. I get caught too. I go, oh, well, there it was. Me gripping. Me tightening up around that thing. Me hearing huge around my huge tear, flapping. And I'm going, doesn't seem good. Mother Luminosity, where is that right now? I'm pretty well hooked up in my flapping meniscus. Right? And then I remember by the very question that I asked, where is it then? Where is Mother Luminosity now? And I smile. And I'm right back in it. Because Mother Luminosity holds the child. And it holds the child in everything, including, uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Right? No problem. We just don't want to get right limited and locked up down there. It's okay though, isn't it? Wouldn't anybody? We just had a friend diagnosed with something very significant, right? And this is one of the mistakes we make, and Mike Shook and I have had a lot of conversations about this. This is one of our habits, and Dzogchen does it as well as do the Zen. We go, yes, but everything in its coming and going. Fuck you. Everything in its coming and going. I just got diagnosed with something significant, and that's what you're telling me? Well, true, but you can't run there, can you? There's no hideout there. You don't go, so I can feel nothing for this. Why? Because I'm terrified of your illness. It's easier, isn't it, to go, well, you know, everything birthing and deathing. Don't we know, right? You'd punch them. Wouldn't you? Like, wait a minute, child luminosity goes, that's scary. That's hard. I don't know, evil, right? And then can get held in the wider. But watch yourself. We have a tendency to run to one or the other. And either the true luminosity, then, we're going to practice now. True luminosity is both. It is the present moment. It's the getting the victuals, and it's the understanding, right? That even in this care, even in this compassion, we will not escape the realities of birthing and deathing. And the very knowing of this opens something, right? Because even that then says the teachings, not you. Do not mistake it. Do not mistake this body, then the sutta says, as you. Do not mistake this sensation as you. Do not mistake this thought, this feeling, this predilection as you. Rest in the vastness, rest in the infinite, rest in the boundless. And then we notice, okay, I can hold this too. Let's see if we can't do it. You get what I'm saying? Leanne, good morning. We can hold it all. Difficult, the pleasant. Is there anything anybody wants to ask me about this before we practice? The practice is the revealer, isn't it? You get what I'm saying? It's very hard to hold it. There's a lot of talk around the Pali and Sanskrit texts, but I don't think they're helpful. They're words you don't know and don't get. Really. And then they announce them and you go, I don't know. What does that mean? Well, it means this too. This too. This breath, this sensation, this, and we're going to begin there. That's the child luminosity. And then we'll see what can hold it, no matter what it is. Even a flapping meniscus, a diagnosis we don't like. The partner who just said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So we're going to find a posture. Mine is solidly adjusted today. But find a posture that allows for that felt sense of ground. We get to begin there, even though I just said there really is none. And that is true also. But see if you can't find a way for your feet to be in contact with the earth. And then feeling the sense of the legs establishing a base. And then the contact of the seat to the cushion, the uprightness of the spine, the balance of the head, and see if you can't feel that sense of weightedness of the arms, offering a type of balance and ballast. The aliveness, the vibration of the hands. And then the noticing that you're breathing. And then taking a big and deep in-breath, breathing in as deeply as you can. And on the out-breath, settling into this body, letting this body settle into the earth. Let's do it again. Big, deep in-breath. Big out. Settle back a little bit more. You got nowhere to go. Watch the tendency to push oneself forward. We're finding that equipose, both the alertness and the ease that allows you to sit here just like this now and forever. And may we call to mind with this noble established body, may we call to mind those for whom we are practicing today. And make sure you name yourself. Let that generate the radiance, the boundlessness of the bodhicitta heart. We're not just practicing to feel better right now. We're practicing for all beings throughout all time. And take that in. That's pretty serious business. All beings throughout all time. Contributing to the end of suffering. And then we're just going to rest in this body for a moment, and you get to continue little micro movements. Don't over Zen, because we are settling into the body, stabilizing the mind, finding a place within this body, within this breathscape, to rest one's attention. Do you remember as a child looking up at the sky, or maybe watching the ants in the grass and being literally transfixed by its enormity? Even those little ants, you were making contact with something. And see if you can bring that same quality of attention, the same open-heartedness, and that same motivation to this one breath. Child wonder, awe, connection, presence. And for just now, we rest the mind in one single object or point. This is temporary. This is not our whole practice, but it stabilizes, pacifies, unifies the mind. So we let the rising of the in-breath, the cresting, and the falling of the breath be the wave in the ocean. We are simply attending then to the undulation. We're not thinking about the wave. We're not necessarily having to picture a wave, though it happens for many of us. That's just a support. It's lovely. We're actually trying to feel that felt sense. If you could imagine yourself then resting or floating in that vast ocean, just feeling each wave. already awakened. Just this one breath. Noticing sounds, sensations, thoughts, and feelings arising and passing right along with that undulation, with that breath. And we're giving our primary attention to the breath itself for now. See if you can keep your sense of the lens of attention about the size of the breathscape, a little more or less. We don't want to tighten up around just the breath spot, though that is also a practice. We're going to hold the whole of the breathscape, the whole of that torso, a little wave. Child luminosity, in wonder, in awe, in complete attention, intimate, connected, friendly. With this one breath. And like a child of wonder, we smile with delight. If you're pressing into the breath, you're causing dukkha. You don't have to work that hard. The breath is arising and passing on its own. Settle back. Soften the body. See if you can enjoy the breath. The rising and the falling. And the space. Now we're going to expand a little bit. If you can't imagine that entire ocean of awareness all around, above, and below. It's everywhere. No obstacle, no single object that is not a part. It's all a part of the vastness, including you. And then in Mother Luminosity, we begin to recognize that this very breath has actually begun before time. It required sun and moon and space and the stars and water. It came through billions of people, all conditions, as did you, the breather. You are not just this breath. You are not just this moment. You have come throughout time. A true time traveler. In this appearance, this breath. And then we don't only hold the breath, but the space in which it has all been manifest and appeared. The whole of the sky, the whole of the ocean, all space, all light, all energy, throughout all time. And the lens then expands. And includes everything. Everything then in its perfect order. Now remember, we can rest in the breath itself, in the body itself. And the infinite space in which it arises and passes. This is the integration, understood as the mother and child unity. This is the bardo of the Dharmata. It is where life and death meet. It is continuous. Not born and not dying. The perfection of the present moment, says the Dzogchen. Wherever we place the mind, perfect. See what makes sense for you. Is it a sky-like quality of mind? Is it that vast space within, around, through the ocean of awareness? The precious present moment. There is no duality. There is no child luminosity or mother luminosity. There is only luminosity. It is everywhere, imperturbable, unshakable, always now. Our true identities revealed here. And then we experience, don't we, things in their parts, and we invite them into the whole. The sound of the fountain, the sound of my voice, the coolness, the thought about lunch, everything, an essential part. We don't reject it and we don't grip it. It's just in the arising and passing. Held in this vast luminosity. The mother and child reunion. There is no breath, there is no breather. There is no body separate from the vastness. There is no this and that. No here and there. All one. In the sutta it says not one and not two. The seeing, the seer, and the seen not separate. Life and death, neither and both. And if you're thinking, boy, I don't get this, you're beginning to understand. That's great. There should be an energy, a brightness, and a certain surrender. We're not looking for something, we're resting in the perfect present. And in this perfection, everything is included, nothing rejected. We take claim of nothing for our own, and we reject nothing as separate from us. If there is confusion, we invite the confusion, let it arise and pass. The clear seeing, arising, passing. Love, fear, insight. All a part of the whole. In all this, the mother and child luminosity radiates. This one breath, perfection. The whole of the breath throughout time, perfection. Everything in between, perfection. The ease of the Buddha body, resting in luminous Buddha mind, radiating the vastness of that boundless Buddha heart. all perfection in all directions, all ways. And so then where are our problems? Nowhere, nobody, and everywhere. Right? Nowhere and everywhere. And we have to hold them both, don't we? See, either side, you're going to limit, aren't you? Because if we rest simply in the mother luminosity, you can get a little callous about the whole thing. Can't you? You can go, yeah, I don't know, just resting in the big picture. It's little stuff. Who's got time for that? Mistake. You will contribute to suffering from there. And if you only grip that in the arising and passing, mistake, you're going to suffer, aren't you? Certain suffering. Can you hold both? That's the integration, mother and child luminosity. No side, all apart, all apart. And then can you see your habit? You can start seeing them. I'm just resting up here going, I don't know what's the big deal, right? It's just, right, for the person spinning round and round in that moment. How do we hold them? How do we hold death and grief and loss and fear? You don't just go, just rest in mother luminosity. Little habit. So it is the all-encompassing of the wholeness. So what was your experience? Where did you see the grip? Where did you see the side taking? Right, we do it. And where did you see the end of the sides? You did. You felt that somewhere. Like there's nowhere else to go. This is everything, and right? No problem. You felt that too. And this is why we train like this, so that we can see the mind. And where it is in its grip, or it's clinging, or it's releasing as well.
Yeah, I thought it was really beautiful and it's kind of in line with some things I'm diving into for work. Milton Erickson has this thing where he used to always say, "Isn't it nice to know you can have both at the same time?" And then sitting with both kind of kept coming up for me was this opportunity to transform both experiences, not this or that, but the integration. Sitting with both, watching the experience transform.
And it's beautiful to see where we are, you know, where the habit and the nature of dukkha is in grabbing either. You're going to suffer in either. If you just, this one, I like this version. I don't like, I just want to rest in the bigness. I don't want to deal with the reality that the bill didn't get paid and the cat's starving and the, right. And just to see the nature of mind. And the minute we know we're on a side, we're no longer on a side. And I love that as much. The minute you have a sense of, oh, just in lost in the minutia of the present moment, having lost the vastness, just as much. Oh, just resting in vastness, because it's easier to deal with death often that way. That's right.
I have to learn so much about worship. And we've got suffering with this like that makes joke on top of COVID on top of the house. As I was sitting with and I could feel the resistance. So I think that's why I practice. I need to figure out how I can open up to all of it. Negativity, positivity. He told me I practice being in the, I live in the moment, I live with compassion, and I practice gratefulness. But at the same time, but you know, she is this way because there were some mistakes made. I remember myself going, shoot. But there I saw that where this is his moment. I'm learning how to do this.
How do we open to it all? The grip, the cling, the reject, the push away, and not mistake it then for who that person really is. Right? Who that person really is. My mother's partner died last Saturday, and my mom has been in the house, her home and her partner's home, with the daughter of Dan, her partner, for about a week. Well, it's very interesting having two people in significant grief who have probably met each other 3 times in a house together that's about as big as my patio. Yeah. And so you know, don't you? Mother Luminosity knows, ooh, this could get interesting. And now there are fireworks everywhere. There is suffering everywhere. And there's the end of suffering everywhere. And so Mary is the name of this lovely daughter who's really done a lot, by the way, also to help my mother. Made phone calls and called the VAs and the Social Security and so that my 87-year-old mother, who doesn't have to lose her mind, right, can just grieve. Really, it's quite beautiful, isn't it? And that same beautiful woman, Mary, screams at my mother the other day about Mary going to prison for a felony because my mother something. It doesn't matter, right? It's her grief. That's her fear. That's her grip, isn't it? Not more or less true, is it? Than the same woman who called all those phone numbers and all that service and got everything all true. It's all true. And then says the sutta, not one, not two, right? It's not just that her, and it's not, it's the whole, right? It's the whole. It's her in grief. It's her. And my mom calls and my mom says, you know, you're not going to believe this. And I say, oh, I don't know. Maybe I will believe this. Maybe. Because I am also the daughter of a father who has died. I am also the daughter who knows grief. And I'm also the mother. Right? This is the truth. Can we open to all of it? So, Mom, I get it. I get it for everyone, including me. Right? And I smile on the other end of the phone. Can you believe it? I said, you know, you might just say to Mary, Mary, I know this is hard. That's it. What's that going to do? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know at all. But what we do know, we know the truth of that. We know the truth of that anyway. It's a statement of truth. No, I don't know what it'll do. It may not do a thing. I'm not suggesting it will, by the way. It's not that simple. Right? I don't want to say that, and then Mary will soften and say, wow, Barb, how amazing are you? And Mary did none of those things, by the way. And my mother felt better. She was able not to get caught, at least just that one moment, in this you versus me ing. Just maybe the one breath. And by the way, isn't it good enough? Right? I don't know if she needs 25 more breaths for that. Maybe it's the one. Right? Maybe it's the one. But doesn't it matter? One little moment, one act, right? Compassion's way. Compassion is not possible, I will tell you, without mother and child luminosity integrating, is it? It's not possible. If I can't feel for Mary and my mother and myself, and then all those who have been children who have lost their parents, and all those parents who have lost their partners and all, right, then no compassion. It's not possible. And then compassion's way, well, one small moment, right? Mom, maybe you could say, I know it's hard. I could do that. And that's the mother-child luminosity, isn't it? We're on everyone's side now. We're on everyone's side, right? Not no one's, and everyone's side. You get it. And you're not taking a side then.
You know, I hadn't encountered this mother-child luminosity before.
Yes.
And the thing that comes up for me is you know, object relations,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And, you know, I've always, you know, really found that the image of the first time a mother picks up a child and feeds it, the child's experience, you know, at least that's what we project onto it, is that it's an experience of absolute bonding beyond even concept of self and other.
That's right.
And what the child brings is absolute vulnerability and absolute connection. And the mother is the presence that can receive that.
That's right.
And, you know, so then you're talking about that and I'm just going, oh, wow. You know,
Right.
just like,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
yeah, because, you know, but the thing, but the other side of that is that as that child grows and first around about the age of 2 experiences some kind of loss of that absolute acceptance, you know, and then starts on a story about what's wrong with me, what's wrong with them, what's wrong with the world,
That's right.
you know, and takes that into their life,
Right.
you know, as this deep belief, you know, and and our whole lives we're looking for that absolute bonding.
Yes.
But you know, we're not an infant.
It's not out there.
Yeah, it's
It's there and it's not out there.
Yeah.
Right, isn't it? Where is it? Right here. All object relations. Bryn and I both training in that, which says the habit of mind from very early on is something, this idea of seeing the object as not available, let's say, object being anything else, primarily beginning with the mother, right? But the child experiencing, well, you're not always here for me. And you build that story. You're not always here for me. And then,
what's
yeah.
wrong with you? What's
Yes.
wrong with me?
and you find all the ways now that the person's not there for you. And it's pretty nicely continuous, you might add. And by the way, what is that? That's that quality of mind that went, I see all the ways. You're not here for me. But the teachings say not separate from mind. Not separate. And what did I say about Mary? We'll use her as an example. Mary is both perfect in her offerings. Isn't she present? Did more. This is a woman she's met 3 times. Really, what does Mary need to be doing for my mother? Really, but really an offering, right? Look at that, this beauty of this non-dual, of the no separation, right? And then we all get caught. Like you're going to put me in prison. I'm going to be in prison because of you, says Mary.
And so it's the your one's awareness where,
Yes.
you know, it's acceptance.
Yes. And the integration is there. See, if
Yeah.
Mary could have seen that, when we see it, right, we go, there I am, then creating separation. There I am going, oh, if it weren't for you, there I am. You're no longer lost there. See, we call that self-liberation. The moment you know the contractedness in you, you are no longer contracted. You are seeing contraction, beauty, beautiful, right? Luminous. Wow, there I am. Ripping.
You see love.
Yep. Yeah. And then you can see it everywhere. You can see it everywhere. That's the Dzogchen mantra. Love everywhere, always, this moment. And if you cannot see it, what you know, it is some in you. Little hook, little grip, little tightening, little blindness, little cover in you. You don't go, well, if it was you, because if you didn't, right? And this is our habit, isn't it? We all do it. We all do it. But the seeing that we do it is the beauty. It's stunningly beautiful, really. To go, you're free already. Isn't it amazing? You go, wow, all those moments I went, if it weren't for you, I could be loving. And we all do it. But if you know you do it, freed, fully liberated, then you can go. The only thing then, right, is this. And clearing this moment. Clearing this heart. Luminous, radiant, all inclusive, all abiding. The Dzogchen says, rest in this. Rest in this. And then we smile. You can't not smile. You go, yeah. Awakening. I saw it. And we have to be willing to see it, don't we? And some of us are not always right. We go, I can't look. Not today. I don't want it today. Too hard. No, actually, dukkha is hard. Clear seeing is nothing but good news. Even when you see the cause of dukkha. I don't want to look today. I don't want to do that. Yeah. I used to do that with caramel corn. I use caramel corn as my addictive example. I used to do that with caramel corn. I'd be heading up to the cart to get my caramel corn. That was my dad made caramel corn for us as kids. And I had this really amazing, or did, attachment to that. So I'd be waltzing up because I could smell it like blocks away. Right. It was like hypnosis. I was and I'd be purchasing the caramel corn, and the woman would say, what size bag? And there was a flicker moment where I went, I'm going to get that big bag, and that's going to actually make me sick for sure. And I knew it. Little moment, and I got that big bag. I went and got the big bag. Like, I don't know, they're like 6 feet. I don't know, this is gigantic. This bag. And I already know that I'm going to eat that whole bag. And I already know I'm going to get sick from that bag. Now, by the way, this is liberation. I'm going to eat that bag. Except not quite the same. It isn't quite the same. And I get about 10 bites in, and I'm going, this isn't actually so great. I'm going to eat the whole thing anyway, by the way. Right? Now, if you were in my head, you'd be going, what are you doing? What are you doing? You already know, but the habit momentum has me a little while longer. And so I do it again, but every bite after that 10th, I'm going, this is ridiculous. There's no point to this. There's nothing in this. And I have to do that how many ever more times? Clear seeing, Dzogchen, perfection arising. It isn't the same. I'm not totally checked out. I am going, this isn't going to benefit me at all. And then one day, really apparently by surprise, my sister says, let's get the caramel corn. And I go, yeah, no. Mm-mm. No. It only makes you sick. And she looks at me like I lost my mind. What happened to you? You were my co-addict. Where'd you go? Get back here. And she goes, does this mean you're never going to eat caramel corn again? And I said, oh, I don't know. I will never eat it again like that. Will I? And I will never eat it again like this. And I will never eat it again quite like this and quite like this. And that took whatever iterations and incarnations and rebirths and deaths, right? This is what we mean by karma. Actually, it's happening right now, that it took for me to go, yeah, you know, I don't actually need to do that anymore. Now, it doesn't mean I will or won't eat caramel corn. It's not actually even the point, is it? It's the mind. What quality of heart mind am I bringing to it? Right? But the spell is broken. And I am free. And that is Dzogchen, the perfection. How many times do you have to put your hand in the fire? As many times as you do. Mm-hmm. Don't you? Exactly as many times as you do. And you're all doing it today and tomorrow. And you're going to go, there I was. Hand right on the coal. Just burn, burn, and burn. But not quite the same. It isn't. You're going, there I am with my hand on that coal. I can smell the burning flesh. This may not be necessary. So you can then learn to do that every time you turn towards the family member or the partner or the other and go, if it weren't for you, I could be happy.
You know, that freedom that you've been talking about,
Yeah.
I experience it the most. I mean, it's just is when that is said to me, and I instantly realize sometimes,
Yeah.
that
More and
it's
more.
not- that it's not about me.
Yeah.
That it's the other person.
That's right.
And so the ability to just accept and go, oh, tell me about that.
Yeah.
Or something. You know,
Yes.
just
You're suffering and my suffering. Because we don't want that for ourselves or the other, do we? Not really. We don't want that suffering. Not for anybody, not for us, not for them. It wouldn't be true. And often we feel so out of control, right? That we decide it better be you who stops it, because I'm hopeless over here. I'm just going.
and sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And sometimes it's true,
yeah.
isn't it? Like it better be somebody else that picks this up. Better call the other Mother Luminosity out, because I'm just lost and you're just a shithead.
And but you kind of know the way back. You know,
You
a
do.
little more.
Next breath, next moment.
It is really interesting concept and way to put it. I mean, I joke and I say, well, I used to love to talk about getting sober as long as
Exactly.
And how many years did I do that until
Yeah.
finally one day I was like, yeah, this isn't Morgan anymore.
Not so much. Right.
And it's the same thing.
It's the same.
But you can look back at it, it's like, oh, part of the process.
That's right.
A little more awakening each time,
That
whether
is-
I realize
isn't it?
or not.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes you die
Yeah.
in that awakening. And I've worked with people where they've been sober, as Brad's using his example of that level of sobriety. We're all addicts in recovery, right? Of one quality of mind or another. The object is insignificant, really. It is not with the what, this thing, that thing, the other thing. And the truth is, it takes awakening again, awakening again, awakening again, awakening again. And then in the sober communities, I get worried because the person says, I'm recovered. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I go, well, yeah. Like I've got a 68-year recovery program going. I'm probably, every breath in recovery. Can I see? Can I awaken? Can I know? And how do you know? Dukkha. Every moment. Every moment. They go, why? How come? Why me? Why not? It should be. Why didn't it? Right? This is habits of mind right from the very beginning. Going, why isn't it going my way? It is going your way. Actually,
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's the
real truth is it's
real-
going exactly your way.
Yeah.
Because you're constructing that. You're constructing that. Now, it doesn't mean the hurricane didn't come. Right? That's not what I said. And we don't get childlike and magical about I made the hurricane. You did not. You were a part of the experiencing of it, though. And what you do and you don't do, how you hold it and don't hold it, how you hold others or you don't hold others in it is you. It is simply a quality of mind. And with our mind, says the sutta, we make the world. And nobody likes them, right? We go, no, they were just stupid. That was just failed. It just shouldn't have been like that. Remember, coming throughout all time, in all conditions, to that moment. That blows my mind, and it's true. All conditions throughout all time resulting in this. And then how do we hold it? Just this. This is the child luminosity. Can I just be here with this first? So when we continue then to practice. And I can't think of a better thing to do. And you can't either. You can't come up with it. And I can't either. The clear seeing is the way. And so let's rest in that for just a few more moments together. And then resting in this body as it is. Perfection. The truth of this precious human life, accorded to few. Perfection. You have been offered and gifted the highest, most supreme mind to see clearly the truth. Perfection. And then we place the mind on sounds or thoughts or images, feeling tones. And the knowing. Perfection. Resting in that mother-child luminosity, in awe of the present moment and all that holds it. Perfection. May we dedicate all merits, all motivations, the good news and the bad news, and all the news in between. May we dedicate it all to the end of suffering. And the realization of true happiness and freedom, mother-child luminosity, the relative and the absolute, the present moment and all moments, the this and the that, and both and neither. Resting in the groundless ground of awareness. No edges, no borders, no separation. Pure luminosity. May we continue until the end of suffering. One moment, one breath, and all lifetimes. Until all beings, all things are awakened and free. Beginning now.